Okay, we are continuing the build-up to the All-Ireland hurling final this weekend, and a man steeped in Kilkenny is Bobby Kerr, down to business his own on Newstalk. Bobby, how are things?
Shane, good to talk to you, and you know what? If anybody asks me to talk about Kilkenny, I'll talk all day, so let's go.
Yeah, your mastermind. Would this be your mastermind subject if you had to pick one?
Not really, because I wouldn't be an expert on the technicalities of hurling, but I've been sort of steeped in hurling. Kilkenny's an amazing place. The first thing is it's a very small county. So everybody from there is connected with hurling at some level. So it's very easy that your brother is going out with a girl whose brother's on the team. There's always some connection somewhere that leads back to hurling. So my father was in the hospitality business in Kilkenny. The New Park Hotel in Kilkenny was in our family for 50 years. It was a scene of many homecomings. Again, I remember it as a child, the team coming back on the train, into the station, the whole welcoming, and it's something I grew up with.
So what's your Kilkenny story? Did you move to Kilkenny as a kid, or were you born there? What was your origin story with
My father was the manager in Jury's Hotel here in Dublin, and in 1966, when I was 6, we moved to Kilkenny, and I grew up there. And it's funny, one of my first entrepreneurial ventures involved Kilkenny hurling, because when I was about Kilkenny won, I think, in 69, 72 and 74, when I would have been aged 9, 12 and 14 respectively. And we had this gig, and Mrs. Dowling, who lived on our road, a wonderful lady, used to make Kilkenny flags for us. Right. The Dowling brothers, myself, the Crotties, a whole lot of us. And we used to go out onto the road, onto the Castlecomer Road, on All-Ireland morning, selling the flags that were made by Mrs. Dowling. And we used to stop the cars, flag them down, sell them flags, and off we went, and we made a load of money doing it.
Jesus. Always an entrepreneur.
So that was my earliest, I think that was my first ever successful financial, and I was only thinking about it during the week, back in those days, selling flags. And we used to literally almost stand out in the road to stop the cars, so they had no option but to stop. It was great.
Hurling got you started in your own job. It's funny because the ages you mentioned there for those, like 69, 72 and 74, so you're 9, 12 and 14, like prime age to hook you right into the sport of hurling.
Well, it's funny, I was in the CBS. I wasn't a great hurler, again, hands up. It wasn't my game of choice. I did try. And everybody in the CBS, you were given a hurl. You didn't have, it was a compulsory sport, and that was it. And I remember one time we were playing hurling when we were in about 5th class, and a neighbour of mine, he chested the ball down as if it was a soccer ball, and the brother came out and went absolutely ballistic that he made a soccer move on a hurling pitch, which was absolute heresy, and I remember it well. So I went then to boarding school in Dublin, where I actually played rugby. And again, I was only an average rugby player at school. I played a bit better after I left school. But again, hurling wasn't technically my sport. Rugby was. But, you know, do I love hurling? Absolutely, I do.
Do you remember watching Kilkenny for the first time? Like, were there players back in that era that just really, in the black and amber, brought it to life for you? Or how did your love of it start?
Eddie Kerr had a score of 35 goals and 336 points. Now outclassed by TJ Reid, but he was a neighbour of mine. He lived about 200 yards from my house. Right. He was a friend of my father's. He worked in the bank, and we knew him just as Eddie, you know. And he was just, and he was a fine hurler. Yeah. I remember vividly the picture of him going up to collect his medal. Would have been probably in the mid-70s, with blood streaming down his face, and going up and holding the cup. And again, he was a fantastic hurler.
And did you go to many matches then as a kid? Do you remember, or even starting to go to All-Ireland finals? I guess everyone remembers their first All-Ireland final that they would have attended for their county. Yeah,
and I actually I didn't actually go as a kid because we were always too busy getting ready for the aftermath in the hotel and the homecoming or whatever it might be. So I'd say my first one was when I was about 19 or 20, when I was in college.
Right.
My father would have given me a ticket. And then I used to go then with my brothers. We used to go regularly. I was at the 4 in a row, all 4 of those. And again, we used to tog out in the Kilkenny gear. And there was a great story because every year, and I still do this, and I'll do it this weekend, every year I put a Kilkenny flag outside my house in Dunleary, and the parish priest, Father Kennedy in Glasstool, is from Tipperary, and he walks up the road, and when he sees the Kilkenny flag, he crosses the road, walks by my house, and then crosses back over again. He said it to me. So I love all that sort of rivalry. I think it brings out the best in of us, all that inter-county stuff, how proud people are of where they come. But as I say, I was never a brilliant hurler, but the game enthralls me. And I think it's just a wonderful sport. And it's great to see such a small county as Kilkenny being able to perform so well.
It must define your personality, being from a county like Kilkenny that is so used to win. It's same as, I guess, being a Kerry football fan. Like you're so used to winning over the years that I guess you get used to it, and you expect to be at the top. And Kilkenny hurling fans have always been of that mind frame, I guess.
Yeah, but Kilkenny haven't been, they haven't been on top for a few years now, and they've come close, but it hasn't been the gravy train it was. Again, we were derailed for the 5 in a row, or the drive for 5 as they called it, and again I remember all the euphoria around that. So I think Limerick are going for that now, so we'll see how that all pans out. And interesting enough, you always have a connection with the other guy. My mother lives in Limerick now, right. And again, she'll be in two minds as to which flag she'll be waving on Sunday.
The build-up then to an All-Ireland final week, would it be nerves? Is it excitement? Is it anticipation? A bit of everything? I guess there's expectation being a Kilkenny fan, but as you say, maybe not in recent years with Limerick, but I guess All-Ireland final week has always been hype.
Yeah, and there's a wonderful buzz around the city, even in the villages and towns around the county. The flags go up, everybody's talking about it, and as many people that can are going to the game. So it's a big event. It would be a big event, in the calendar. And as I said earlier, everybody's actually connected to it.
Before I let you go, Bobby, we should get your predictions. I was chatting to Kieran Cudahy, and he was head and heart. He was very much heart Kilkenny, but head, I guess. Now he could have been him being cute, but I guess also Limerick will be the favourite with the bookies heading into the match. But how do you see it going?
I think it's going to be a very tight game, and I think Kilkenny's defence has been exceptional during this tournament, and I think that just might be the difference on the day. They need to get lucky, but I think with good defence and a bit of luck, and with TJ Reid firing on all cylinders, it could be done, and I think it will be done by a small margin.
I love the confidence. And then TJ or Cody for hurler of the year, just to put the icing on the cake, hopefully.
I think Cody. I think his scoring record from the field of play has been fantastic, and I think it's well overdue.
Well, listen, Bobby, appreciate your time, and enjoy the match as much as you can.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. I will. Good to talk to you.